What's going on, guys? This is episode 10 of Virtual Bromance, and we just titled this one Video Games because we couldn't think anything cool.
And I think it's
appropriate.
It's a legitimate claim. I think we are probably going to talk about some video games. Did you pull that window off to the side or something? Oh, it's hidden there, isn't it?
Yeah, we're fine, man.
Okay. How do we know if it's go time in there?
Because it's rotten wrong.
Oh, okay. Takes forever. Don't even talk to me about people being late.
Yeah.
Of all the late motherfuckers that's going to criticize people for being late.
That's right.
I am Providence. And this guy is Jeff, the god of biscuits. Sorry, I was looking to see if they could see my thumb when I pointed like this.
Oh, yeah. All right, so today we have a couple games to talk about. The one that I'm going to talk about is actually something I've been waiting for a long time, and I got to play through it, and I think it's pretty awesome, and I think that you should play through it as well. I know you have it on your wish list on Steam. Just throwing that out there. But before we get into that, I just want to point out that's that right there.
Oh yeah, I know you don't like that in the shot, but you know.
No, it's our total bro pick.
The picture over there. This guy.
What did you think I was pointing
at?
The
dresser over here.
No, this.
Oh yeah. We've got a live AmSec performance bro pick. That was immediately before or after we were posing as a penis?
That was before, because I was like, haha, look, I can do testicles. And you're like, I'll do the penis.
And we did. Yeah. It's a shame that the actual cock and balls picture is blurry.
Yeah. And I think that it's funny that he said it looks like a penis in the chat. I know he was talking about your thumb, but very appropriate for the picture.
Yeah, we do that.
In any case, do you want me to switch it or just leave it up there for a little while?
You should just leave it for a while, I think.
All right. So episode 10, video games.
Jinx, bro. Jinx.
There hasn't been a whole lot of games that we've been playing this week, I suppose. I know that he was playing some Xenoblade Chronicles.
I did play a little bit more of that. Yeah, I also played
Super Metroid.
Metroid Zero Mission. I played.
Oh, that's right.
I played for a bunch of hours when I just needed something kind of mindless after I got off of work, and that fit the bill for me as something that I played a couple times before. We played a couple matches of Colonial Marines multiplayer because
for a 365 game.
Yeah, which
still sucks.
Well, it seems to me.
Throwing that out there.
Didn't we kind of?
We have a kind of a differing opinion of the game.
No, I mean in the end, the bottom line is that we have fun.
We have fun playing it, but it's a bad game.
Yeah,
just throwing that out there.
I'm not one of those. It's the worst game ever. Look, dude.
Well, it's not the worst game ever.
Look, I played Two Human. I own a copy of it. Don't tell me about the worst game ever.
Yeah.
And that's not even the worst game ever.
We should play it for the Does This Suck? By the way, new series on Virtual Bromance, which John will be talking about the game that we're playing when we get to that part, because that's pretty much most of what you've been playing this week.
Yeah. So we're doing a series that we're called. What is the series?
It just calls Does This Suck?
Does This Suck? We're playing games that are suspect, rumored to be awesome or otherwise, that maybe we're a bit suspicious about the verdict on them.
Right. Or games that are universally
like revered as great games or whatever, or as shitty games. Yeah. And rather than the normal Virtual Bromance YouTube channel video, it is not. What are you doing?
Get my beer.
Oh, you couldn't figure out where it was?
No, I put it down there.
Okay. It's not David playing the game.
Yeah, it's John.
We do. We do generally. I drink a bunch.
We try.
I was just sort of saying that as a general statement.
Oh yeah. Right.
I drink a bunch and then I play a game with some of the worst controls I've ever encountered.
But windshield wipers.
But there is a windshield wiper button in the car, which is pretty good. Which is... No, the siren button is the boost button.
Yeah.
But I get pretty drunk, and then I play, and we do like a running commentary. The down point of this whole adventure was... What the hell night was that? Friday night or something?
2 nights ago, yeah.
Friday? Or was it Thursday?
It was Thursday.
Thursday. I drank a bunch.
You're gonna tell him how I fucked up, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell him.
Whatever.
I drank a bunch. I think it was the night I was drinking brandy, right? I was drinking brandy, and I went and got sushi, and I had some hot sake.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on? I went and got hot sake, and then I came back and I drank more brandy, and then I drank beer, and I was oh well, you want the why don't you do that while I explain this?
Do what?
The tweet about the show.
Oh shit!
He's almost put the beer in front of the camera. No, so I played for an hour or something. I stayed up later than I wanted to, drunk.
Which I'm gonna tell them another story about when we made you stay up later than you wanted to, and it's gonna be hilarious. So go ahead.
That wasn't funny
really
at all.
It was funny. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, what's going on, Ben? So I stayed up an hour later than I wanted to, and I delivered some of the most amazing drunk gameplay commentary I've ever delivered. I mean, the jokes were earth-shatteringly good. I mean, there were times that we were nearly in tears laughing.
Yeah.
And after that hour of gameplay, David, was getting the software all squared away at the end, and he said, "Oh, hey, you're gonna be pissed." As he pointed the mouse.
He wasn't pissed. Dude.
As he pointed the mouse over the capture button, which had never been pressed on the game capture software.
Yeah.
To which my response was,
I'm going.
"Seriously?" And he said, "You're gonna have to replay all that stuff." And I said,
No. We're just gonna skip it.
I said,
because really, all he did was just drive around for a little bit, and then talk to Tom Assistant for a while.
No, it was after that.
No, because you
it was
remember you had to go
exploring
find
the
his
police station.
Flying squirrel key or whatever.
Yeah, my response was this.
Yeah,
I know. I went, yeah, all right. and I was immediately in bed thereafter to watch The Wonder Years on my Amazon.
Tweeted.
Yeah, to watch The Wonder Years on my Amazon Prime account on my PS3, which Wonder Years.
That was quick.
Well, yeah.
All right, so
yeah, Wonder Years is still one of the greatest shows ever made.
The other time that we kept John up later than he wanted to be was back when he worked a first shift job, and it was Nick and I living together. This was back in what, 2003? And it was
fucking jerk ass.
We told him that we had written a new song for AmPsych, and we wanted him to listen to it, to give us some feedback or whatever. And in reality, all we did was open up the editing program and just do this with different parts.
These motherfuckers.
And
they kept me awake for an extra 2 or 3 hours.
Because back then we used the FTP site, and we had to upload each part instead of just because we didn't render it in MP3 or anything. So.
And it was 10 years ago. I mean.
Yeah. So we kept him up for hours uploading all these parts, and when he finally listened to it, I don't remember if you said anything or if you just went to sleep. But the next day he was pissed about it, and he sent it to our German, who for some reason liked it, and said he was going to spread it around, and we came up with the name Kawasaki Head Kick. That was the name of the song.
You know what? All right, David. Dave's making fun of us for our awesome gonna make a cock and balls picture.
See, I knew that was going to happen.
Which is why
that's why
we came prepared.
We did this.
Wham! Welcome to the fucking party, assholes. Welcome to the party. You want a bitch? We got a bitch.
All right, so why don't we get into? Why don't we start with your thoughts on Deadly Premonition? Because we haven't actually talked about it. I haven't asked him if he liked it or not.
So yeah, I've been playing Deadly Premonition. And as I said, I'm pretty much playing it drunk.
First of all, who gave it to you?
Joe from On the Stick, Joe Drilling from On the Stick.
Who has been on the show before? He was on
the
our E3 show.
RE3 episode, yeah. He gave it to me a while ago, a couple of years ago or whatever. I don't know how old the game is. He got a really good deal on it, got it really cheap, and had heard some good things about it. And he thought that I would really enjoy it. Now, I sometimes am a bit of a slacker. So, 2 years or something went by, and David mentioned that he maybe wanted me to do. He was going to try to track down a copy of this game so I could play it. And I said, well, you know, I think I have a copy of that game somewhere.
And I was like, nah, I'm sure you don't.
I went and I dug through the Xbox games, and
wasn't it unopened?
Yeah, it was still in the cellophane wrapper.
Good deal.
So yeah, it is a ridiculously direct homage to Twin Peaks. Everything about it is Twin Peaks.
Yeah. Just a little bit more.
With more with like the zombie shit added to it, pretty much. The weird like hangover backwards at their head. The juggalos and juggalettes.
He fights a lot of juggalos in the game, actually.
Yeah. He's kind of my hero like that. He kills a lot of juggalos.
I meant you.
He being me, but I meant Zach in York.
Zach. Yes.
The game is
Peppermint Patty.
Yeah. And then he talks to fucking Tom Assistant. And the mustache. And that girl that's not Sherilyn Fenn.
Right. It's a shame.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. My phone keeps going off because this new job thing is really just eating up all of my time.
Well.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's business, man.
That's fine.
So the gameplay is
you want to snuggle a little bit?
Yeah, maybe. Tank controls on the level of classic Resident Evil, I think, on the clunkiness of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is, if the game is really great, like if you got a really kick-ass story, or
that's what I hear. That's why we're playing
cool. Yeah,
because I hear that a little further into it, it actually gets really good.
Yeah, if the game is really great, I can look past really clunky, outdated bullshit control setups. And I'm still continuing to get a chuckle out of like how shamelessly ripped off of Twin Peaks it is. And I'm not to be clear, I'm not a David Lynch fan. I tend to think that David Lynch is one of those guys who
you're gonna pick a fight with David Lynch on the show.
Yeah, I think he's a hack. I think he's weird. He's weird for the sake of being weird. He's a guy that's like, it's like he was sitting around and was like, all right, man, I'm thinking I'm gonna write a TV show about, a murder mystery in, where was it, North Dakota or something? Montana, I think it is. Oh, a murder mystery in Montana that they send in an FBI agent to take up the investigation.
Wherever they
and then
can
he's
have
like,
a short...
He's like, and that seems pretty good. It's pretty good. Now let's add a bunch of random bullshit to it to make it really fucking weird, because nobody's going to be interested in it if it's not fucking weird.
Like a short, fat old lady
cosplaying
as a Japanese guy.
Right, and a woman who talks to and carries around a log, and...
I forgot about that.
Yeah, log lady.
And Heather Graham.
I didn't get to Heather Graham yet.
Oh, she's in there.
And we'll have David Duchovny cross-dress as well.
His best role ever.
And, yeah, so... No, fuck David Lynch. There's nothing that David Lynch has done that I was like, holy shit. Like, I like the Dune movie because I like the visual
guys,
aspect.
Hold on. So now you've picked a fight with Shinji Mikami.
He's a cocksucker. He shot his mouth off first. I was just, responding.
Right. So he picked a fight with Shinji Mikami, the creator of Resident Evil. He picked a fight with Randy Pitchford.
I didn't pick a fight with Randy Pitchford.
You challenged him. That's picking a fight.
Hey, that guy sat there and said all kinds of good things about Colonial Marines. And it wasn't what he said it was. And even after the fallout of everybody talking about how it was a giant fuck you, he's
picking a fight with him one more time.
Yeah. He continued to support it and was like, man, yeah, word to my fans that love this game, whatever, we're going to hook you up with some free stuff or whatever. And yet, all I said was, hey, dude, I know that you're like Borderlands guy and that's your thing and whatever, but
And we love you for Borderlands, by the way.
you're pretty all right for that. But I just told him that maybe if he was a real man, he would play some Colonial Marines on Ultimate Badass with us.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really picking a fight with him.
No. As long as we don't have to play the Raven.
Well,
can we skip that one?
Yeah. But I will fight David Lynch.
Oh, look at that. Anyway, get back to the Deadly Premonition stuff. I sidetracked you.
Oh, yeah. But what?
Golden keys, bro.
Oh. Okay. Sorry, it made me think
you
of
see a bunch of letters and numbers.
The BRB lol totally distracted me.
Man, I'm going to see if I can open that without screwing anything up.
Yeah, so the game is like a screaming homage.
The screen might go all weird here for a second.
Which is fine, because it sort of like plays around with the ridiculousness of Twin Peaks. And the controls suck. But I mean, it's fun to make fun of.
Yeah.
And there's infinite ammo for that handgun, which is pretty nice. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm not like furiously pissed at it yet. I'm not offended at how long I've been playing it. I'm going to continue to play it. I've finished far worse games.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that says something.
All right, so just before the show, I asked John to make something for the show, and he came through in a pretty sweet way.
Well, you got to explain what it was that I needed to make.
All right, so we were wondering about this the picture that we had up over the chat, and how if the chat wasn't going to be that animated, we weren't going to put it on the show. But if it became...
Right now the chat isn't very animated, but it's still there.
But if it became like, if people were talking on it and stuff, we wanted to put it in the show. And he was like, well, can you on the fly put it in there? And I was like, yeah.
That's what she said.
On the fly. Like fucking Jeff Goldblum.
Or no, like on the fly.
I got you.
You can put it in there, yeah.
So he made it, and like I was like, dude, this is why we were 5 minutes late. By the way.
I said, can you on the fly drop it in there? And you were like, well, maybe you asked me to make, you asked me to make basically
be right back.
Like a way for a second screen.
Yeah, just like our offline image. Yeah.
Right, similar to the offline image, but like say it was like, we wanted to take a break mid-show, like if we were doing a particularly long show, like we took a break in the middle of the E3 show.
Maybe I got to piss,
in the E3 episode, we did you fancy a wank.
Fancy a wank sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, so it was he wanted me to make something that would fill that role.
Right, and John came up with this guy, which is pretty sweet. Give me a second here. Talk about something, John.
Something. And Agent York talks to his imaginary friend, Zatch.
Zatch, yeah.
He talks out loud to him, and he does see premonitions in his coffee.
So that's going to be the thing. You didn't have to stop, man.
Oh, sorry, I was reading the chat stuff. You make it better for YouTube. Post live show.
We're gonna get a billion hits just because you guys are all talking in the chat.
Right. What? Okay. And then I brought in the peach rings. Shit's getting real.
Shit's getting real.
I got an eating problem apparently. I can't.
Alright, so I want to know if you like the game at all, or do you think it sucks?
Well, I think it sucks pretty bad. I'm kind of interested to see what's going to happen with the story, because people liked it.
Right.
So first off, how in the fuck did enough people get past this first portion of the game that is clearly complete donkey shit to find out that the rest was awesome?
Well, My problem with it is, like, I want to know how far we have to get into it for it to start to be awesome.
That's what she said.
Because, like, what if it's only awesome the way Final Fantasy 13 ended up being awesome? Like, the last quarter of the game.
Man, I like the end of that game.
Yeah.
I really hope that Final Fantasy 13-3 Lightning Returns is that good. It won't be.
Because Final Fantasy 13-2 was bad.
It's not falling down. It just was put up very slapdash.
Yeah. Right before we went on.
Like this.
John did it backwards like that. As a matter of fact, I said we were going to talk about that. It's up there because we still haven't found anything awesome to put up there.
No, I don't know. We have awesome things. We just haven't really committed to what we're going to have up there.
Right. I mean, we've got the Metal Gear Raiden poster from Metal Gear Solid
Guns
4,
of the Patriots.
but it's really tall.
It's a huge poster, bro.
Yeah.
It's a store display poster.
Right before we started, I was like, "Hey, let's throw up AMSAC flyers," but he's only got the one that we can put up here. So
yeah, they're all over the house. I have that framed Skinny Puppy tour poster.
that'd be pretty sweet.
From the tour that we did the pre-show for.
Yeah, we play with Skinny Puppy. What's up?
But I have that. That's the only thing I have hanging on the wall in my bedroom right now, because I could not abide by the wine-colored paint with nothing on the walls.
Right.
But I have those I suppose I have those tubes of posters laying on the kitchen floor right now, and I don't even know what's in them anymore. There's like 5 or 6 posters in each one of those.
Yeah.
There could be only one.
There could be. All right. So, what about the driving portion that you've played so far, and the race that you did?
Oh my god!
First of all, a race and I guess it's a survival horror game, a car race, like minigame, totally out of place. Just throwing that out there.
Well,
and it needs a Frostbite engine. It really does, because running into a picket fence screws up your car so much. It's stupid.
I would think. I guess the best way to describe it. I mean,
windshield wipers.
You played a little. You played up to that point in the game, but it was
I
a while
got to
ago.
the police station, saw Tom Assistant, and was like, "I'm done."
Fuck this guy. No, you were like, man, I want to watch Twin Peaks, so you went and like rented it and never went back to the
Netflix.
game. Netflix, okay.
And I watched all of Twin Peaks and just never went back to the game.
Okay. The car controls handle very much like you're driving a car that is
1993 PS1 game.
Yeah, and it's as if you're driving a car that has rear wheel drive, but the wheels aren't like, in front of the wheels are attached to the bumper.
I don't wait. Wait, what?
So it's basically like you're driving a car that is controlled much like it were a giant skateboard. Right. Because
I've noticed that you have not been able to make any sharp turns at all. You run into everything.
Right. Well, it's because the problem,
except for when you pull the handbrake and do like a 180.
Which, right, this is the bullshit. You can you have the accelerate button and you have the reverse button, and then you have a brake. So
and a boost and windshield wipers.
The windshield wipers button is really, really
key.
important. So
but
you're
he
boosting.
likes to play it in third person, so you can't even see him anyway.
I crashed less than.
I suppose.
You're boosting and you let off the boost because you're like, dude, I'm gonna corner it here. So then you hit the handbrake, and it makes you like spin out and do a fucking donut instantly, even if you're not accelerating. And if you hit the reverse, it seems to just sort of suggest that maybe the car should think about slowing down, which leads you in a turn to just veer off the road into whatever is there. And the other cars on the road are like indestructible. You remember I ran into that one?
Yeah, you pushed him for a while.
Yeah. Couldn't get him to, get pushed off the road. I don't know what to deal with that.
Speaking of this part in the game, by the way, we're also going to be trying to play like racing games and seeing how that goes. Haven't figured out a name for that series yet. And sports games as well.
VB goes on the road, bro.
Yeah. So, as much as John doesn't want to do it, I'm going to make him play Madden. I've never. The last Madden I played was on Super Nintendo.
I've never played a Madden game. And as much as David,
it was like Madden 3 or something.
As much as David rolls his eyes, I'm gonna figure out a way for us to play some NHL '93 or whatever.
I'm totally down.
I'm gonna fucking Chelios the shit out of you.
All right, Blades of Steel. We can play that too.
Oh. Yeah, she's talking about Payday 2.
Yeah.
Doesn't give a shit about the fact that I'm playing Deadly Premonition.
Right. That's all right. I don't think I do either.
I don't think I do.
I do.
But we got to do it.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Well, and
I wish I didn't have to work in the morning tomorrow.
We're gonna do right. I have tomorrow. I don't even whatever. The thing that's frustrating to me is that this Deadly Premonition thing is basically stalling us from being able to do the next game, which is the series where you make me play.
Scary games?
No, not the scary games, but you make me play games that are of game types that I suck at. So I will play
Metal
Gear Rising: Revengeance and actually finish it.
Yeah, we'll do that next.
Even though those button masher comboing fucking action games,
you just got to get a hang of it.
I'm pretty fucking terrible at it. I just don't have.
There's only 2 parts in that game that were really super hard, and it's the one where you fight the dude that fucks you up at the beginning, and then the last boss. And the last boss is just that's
Jetstream Sam, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
the fight with him is really cool, but
to further clarify, the only reason I brought this up is because I'm like sitting. I got all the DLC at half price.
You might have to use the BRB because I need another beer. Go ahead.
Small it up, and put it over my seat for right now. I'll go get you a beer, and you can continue to talk.
But that's gonna take some doing, bro.
Yeah.
Why don't you continue on with what you were talking about, and I'll try to make this happen.
Yeah. So I got all the DLC for Metal Gear Rising for half price. So I'm gonna do that, but the last fucking Colonial Marines again. I bought that season pass with the hope that, because we had said like if they do some decent campaign DLC, it'll fucking save the game. So I bought that season pass. I was like, yeah, after this public outcry, they're gonna totally fucking try to bail their asses out with this shit. Well,
they didn't, did they?
They gave us 3 fucking multiplayer map DLCs. Though I will say that one of them is really, really kick-ass. It's all maps from the movies. So they've got a multiplayer map on the Nostromo. They have one that's in the atmosphere processor from the second movie, which, you're going down through the hive and stuff. What did you just do?
Nothing.
What did you just do?
Nothing.
Why'd you freak out?
Because I got rid of the chat for a second.
And what was it? They have one on Fury 161 as well, what's cool about a lot of those maps is that they have like on the Fury 161 map when you're running through it, because the game sort of takes place at the same time that's going on, or shortly after the end of Alien
3 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah,
7
so
weeks, something like that.
It's in a very similar time frame. When you're running through there, you realize that the prison on Fury 161 was abandoned. Like they took the one survivor, they took Morris off the planet, and they shut it down. It was decommissioned.
Yeah.
So in that multiplayer map, the bodies of all the prisoners that were killed by the alien at different points in the movie are still where the alien killed them.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. They don't have a resurrection map because that's 200 years in the future or something. So those maps are pretty cool, and the multiplayer maps, graphic design wise, are like head and shoulders above the other maps.
Good, because the other maps suck.
Yeah, they
except for that one that's inside the facility with all the vents. That one's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's not bad. But they add a lot of really
and we always say that when it comes to a multiplayer game, if the maps suck, the game sucks. That's just the way it is.
They added some really good lighting effects and smoke effects into the maps, which are the things that were terrible in the campaign. And I think that that's kind of an apology to people in its own way. But they also have been patching the multiplayer back and forth, and they've effectively broken everything that we enjoyed about the multiplayer in the beginning.
Yeah.
In terms of abilities
like
and
the
like
stupid lurkers.
yeah.
Yeah, actually, I mean, it's ridiculous. I
That leap
leaped at a guy.
When you
I
can
landed
land
right
that
at his foot.
when you can land that leap though, I gored the shit out of that guy with that fucking lurker.
Yeah.
And they finally released the 4th DLC, and it was a campaign DLC, and I was like, fuck yeah, finally. And it happens before the game. It takes place before the game.
We wanted something that fleshed out what happened at the end.
Right. And the funny thing is that as much as everybody hates the game, and as much as everyone's complaining about the game, sales-wise, it did really well, and it was viewed as a success by the publisher. So they actually have already...
everybody was taking Randy Pitchford on his word.
Yeah, and so they've already sort of said that there's going to be a sequel.
Great. Well, maybe they'll learn from their mistakes.
Right.
What I wanted from the game, because there's a lot of open areas, I wanted more just like claustrophobic corridor shit. That's what Aliens is.
Yeah. Well... they promised a lot of things. They promised a lot of those like Alamo moments was what he was calling them in a lot of the pre-release footage, and there was 2 in the entire game.
Yeah,
and they weren't like super amazing like setups. It was like a tiny little room where you guys are just fucking
right.
Yeah. It was a letdown, but I haven't played the DLC yet because I haven't had time. But maybe I'll play a little bit tonight. I don't know. As you know, the game's not very fun to play alone. So
not very fun to play that at all, to tell you the truth. But
in a bro context,
context, it's pretty all right. In any case, let's get away from, because we're supposed to be talking about Deadly Premonition.
I did all that. There's so much.
For me, since Thursday when it came out, I've been playing the new Shadowrun game, Shadowrun Returns. I've actually been waiting for this game ever since I heard about the Kickstarter. I didn't jump on the Kickstarter because, I was broke. But
because you're a dick and you don't like to help crowdsourcing?
Yeah. Crowdsourcing is for losers. But
we're going to start a Virtual Bromance Kickstarter, and the art project that we're going to be doing is buying us an Xbox One each.
So I started playing that. I woke up like an hour before it actually hit Steam and waited for it, clicking refresh 100 times.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty ridiculous.
Well, I was super excited about the game. I've been a Shadowrun like pen and paper RPG fan since I was a teenager. Started back in 2nd edition. Had a whole shit ton of fucking...
See that, man? 142 views on your Shadowrun video.
Yeah, I saw.
That's pretty good.
The only thing that's got more than that is one of the DayZ videos.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But I used to play Shadowrun at lunch in high school with my bros down in Houston, Texas. And I played a lot, online, things like that. I still play a Shadowrun mod. It's awakenworlds.net. Just throwing that out there. So I was super excited when it came out.
I still talk about my vampire characters.
That's cool. There's been a few vampire games. I've got one on Steam. You want to play it?
Yeah, I know. None of them are really good. Wait,
no,
one of them
was good.
Yeah, the second
That's the
one
I have.
Yeah.
In any case, so I was super excited to hear that, first of all, the guy that created Shadowrun helped with the game, like oversaw everything.
In much the same way that the guys, the couple of guys from the original Fallout team worked on New Vegas.
Right. So I was really excited about that. I was excited to hear that it takes place in the 2050s, which means that it's 3rd edition. Because I don't like 4th edition, and they're coming out with a 5th edition. I'm pretty sure that's going to not be that great either. And the reason I don't like the later editions is because you know how we always joke about Shadowrun hair? It's all crazy hair. It's kind of the way Blood Dragon was. It was Shadowrun up to 3rd edition was the future as envisioned by people from the 80s.
Which is what it is.
Right. And I think it's awesome. It's got like that
future
look to it. Everything's gritty and gross.
The now would be way cooler as a future if it were more like the way that we imagined the now would be when we were in the 80s.
Right.
Were you following me on that?
Yes.
Okay.
So when Shadowrun 4th edition came out, they modernized everything. Like they took away the unique like jargon that they had. They had a whole fucking lexicon of like Shadowrun words.
Well, wasn't the original Shadowrun a lot of nods to Gibson, like Neuromancer stuff?
It's basically 100% ripped off.
Okay.
Except they added magic and races and shit like that to it. But it's essentially like 100% ripped off of Neuromancer, which is my favorite book. So that makes sense that Shadowrun would probably be my favorite game. RPG game, not like video game. But so when I heard that it was going to be in that time period, and that's right before the Bug City shit that happens in Chicago, which is really cool. As a matter of fact, the game leads up to that. Spoiler. But so I've been like just watching the shit out of like any information I could on Shadowrun, which is weird because I generally don't do that. Like you do that, and I'm like, I don't watch these videos. I want to be surprised when the game comes out. So I played the shit out of it before I had to go to work on Thursday. Came right home after we had our mishap with the Deadly Premonition. I went right back to it, played it some more, played it a shit ton of other stuff, and it's really good. Don't get me wrong, I love the game, but when it comes to Shadowrun, like I'm a big fan of Deckers and the Matrix and all that stuff like that. And they really dropped the ball on that in the game. First of all, the game, because it's a video game with a linear story, you can't really get around this. But the game is geared toward combat stuff. So unless you're like a street samurai or a techno mage or like a fighting based shaman, the game's pretty tough. Like I played a Decker and I went pure Decker, so intelligence, decking, ESP, stuff like that.
Look at her. She's trying to like tell you you don't know your shit, bro.
I didn't say anything about Gibson creating the cyberpunk genre. I'm saying that Shadowrun is ripped off of Neuromancer.
Right.
That book.
Right.
In any case.
She's such a snob about this
so
stuff.
I made, like I said, a pure Decker for like the Matrix stuff because I was assuming that there was going to be a lot of Matrix stuff, or you could go to
the Matrix,
the cooler Matrix, not the movies.
The Autobot Matrix. Light our darkest hour, bro.
So I was assuming that you'd be able to like take side jobs from the Mr. Johnsons and in the club and whatever.
Or maybe I'll bartend a little bit.
Yeah. No. Well, yeah. Why not? But you can only do that once in the game. And although, first of all, Shadowrun came out before Snow Crash was written. Just throwing that out there. There's one run, and you can go on it, and it does have some Matrix stuff, but the Matrix in Shadowrun Returns is just a reskinned version of the combat outside of the Matrix, which is not cool. The whole reason I like the Matrix so much in Shadowrun is because it's completely different. It's like 100 times more complicated than the actual game. And when you get into like how it works and stuff like that, it's awesome. It's such a great concept. And when you go into like, say you go into you jack into the Matrix and go to Mitsuhama, it's like they make the node. It's basically virtual reality.
Nerd.
So they make the node.
Nerd.
Strawberry. Like look like anything they want. So let's say you go to the Mitsuhama and it looks like a Japanese garden or whatever, and you're walking around this Japanese garden. It's virtual reality. So in the game, everything is just like a one or two colors, and your guy is see-through, and the walls and the ground are all see-through, and the enemies are just little boxes, and it really upset me.
That seems pretty good to me.
And
what colors?
Red for enemies, blue for not enemies. but you can see through them. They're like outlines.
So blue for bros and red for not bros?
Yeah, blue for bees, red for wasps.
Well, there was a wasp hanging out outside when I had a friend. You were at work today, so you didn't get to have this awesome visit today. I had a friend stop by with his wife, a guy that I haven't seen in
Why
for
is she
years.
still going on about all this shit?
She obsesses about things. Eric Bolton, who's our guy from way back, happened to be driving through Wisconsin with his wife today on his way back from a wedding, and they stopped and hung out for an hour.
Nice.
That's pretty good. Then that factors in because I played Vampire with him, so I mean that's gaming, right?
Yeah, that's how we met.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah, all those. You see, I came out of the womb in 1980, so I beat all that shit. Just saying.
right. So the combat in the game is pretty much, and she's gonna go off on another tangent when I say this. It's
Good.
a straight fucking ripoff of XCOM Enemy Unknown, which is good because XCOM is fucking amazing, and it's a straight ripoff to right down to the shield icons in the cover and shit, right down to the broken ass fucking random number generator, which generates all these numbers before you even start, so that if you have a 90% hit chance to hit a guy and you have 3 shots and the game has already determined that you're not going to hit him, your percentage doesn't mean shit. You'll fire 3 times and miss. It's ridiculous. But the game is not nearly as unforgiving as XCOM is. Like, if I get shot twice, I'm not going to die and lose that character forever.
I thought of something.
What? And you can heal dudes with mages and shamans and whatnot. What?
We should tell the people in the chat right now. They should be thinking of what they want from us in terms of a top 5 tonight, because
all right, guys, we forgot to come up with a top 5 tonight.
Awesome to think of a top 5.
Because we were running. We were too busy having a discussion about how it's cold in July here, which is weird.
And we were also talking about, we were doing things like creating a BRB LOL.
Yeah, right. And photoshopping a bro pic down to the correct size. Yeah, so a top 5 thing that you want us to give us your top 5 of anything game related. We'll pick the best one we see in the chat, I guess. What the fuck was I talking about now?
I don't know.
XCOM.
Top 5 things you wouldn't want to step in without shoes on?
Yeah.
In a video game?
In a video game? We could do Spinies from fucking Mario Brothers, bro.
Oh, Jesus. Are those these guys?
The
or
turtles with the spikes on them.
What about the things that you can go in the boot on?
In the boot?
You know, the little booty? And
I don't know. Venus flytrap looking things. But anyway, so the combat is...
Lego is really the best answer.
Yes. Scuba Steve as well. So the combat is ripped from XCOM, which is good. Jax, yeah. XCOM's combat is fucking amazing, so I'm really glad that happened. When you're not in combat, it really feels like Fallout 2, which is also amazing because Fallout's pretty fucking badass. So they did really good on that part. The story is not super long, but I have 15 hours logged.
But she said it was a good size.
She said it was a good size.
Right.
I've got 15 hours logged into the game, and some of that is the editor, which I'm going to get into in a second because it's fucking amazing. But most of that is gameplay. I left it paused for a while. I don't know, an hour or two. There was a mission in the game which is actually like the best part of the game, and I wish the entire game was just all that. And that was pretty tough, and it took me a couple restarts because I decided not to take a mage in at first, so I had no one to heal. And it's a really long mission. So
they're not giving us any top 5 ideas.
They're not, but it's fine. We'll come up with one.
Jerks.
So it's the Telestrian run.
Never mind. I'm not going to pick a fight with the chat tonight. I'm just not going to do it.
And it's got, because like I said, it's made by that was a nut scratch. It was made by the guy who actually heavily influenced by the guy who actually created Shadowrun. So a lot of the lore is
written
really
by a guy who went to school with the cousin of the guy who created Shadowrun.
He also created BattleTech, which is another one of my favorites. So yeah, and in that mission you have to do like a mix of Matrix stuff and meat stuff. It's like, oh, your meat body.
Right. Your meat suit.
Yeah, and that is like total fucking Shadowrun for me. You go in, there's like sentry guns in this one hallway, and there's a bunch of like Lone Star dudes. Lone Star is the police force.
Oh, I thought you meant Lone Star, the cartoon character from the 80s.
Not the guy from Spaceballs either.
I hear his Schwartz is as big as dark helmets.
So there's these turrets and these guys coming from everywhere.
Wait.
That's
the
what
way
she said.
Sorry, the way she typed that. Are you saying?
Speaking of meat suits.
No. So because it's speaking of meat suits, does that mean the speaking of meat suits? And you just want us to alphabetize it?
Anyway, so you run past this hallway and you have your dude like jack into the Matrix so that he can look for some files or whatever. But on the way there, you can take over the sentry guns.
Can you learn kung fu?
You probably could.
In the Matrix?
Not in the Matrix though. So you've got to have like a guy protecting the guy that's jacked in.
In the Matrix, can you wear sunglasses that don't have arms?
Yeah, you can be whatever. Your avatar can be whatever you want it to be in the Matrix. You could be a walking vagina if you want.
Phil?
Yes. Yes. So you have to have your dude, like, one of the guys protecting him, because when you're jacked in the Matrix, obviously you don't know what's going on. There are some cyberware and utilities for that, for you to be able to see what's going on, but
do they enhance your
it's
cyber
not in the
abilities?
game. Yes, they do. Enhance the shit out of cyber abilities. So you've got the guy protecting, you've got the guy, like, so I had all my dudes, like, set up to watch the exits, and, like, the sentry guns were going crazy, and it really felt like your standard fucking Shadowrun. So I hope that with the user-generated content, people make more stuff like that. There are a couple things on the user-generated content right now that all suck. I'm just going to go on record saying they all suck right now except for one. And that one is just an alpha build, like demo, of the Super Nintendo Shadowrun from back in like 93 or 94.
I've always been
It's almost exact. Seriously, it looks fucking badass.
Is it as good as that oh, I'm sorry, I'm really, really tired.
You don't know what you're talking
That
about.
rebuild of Metroid 2 that I sent you the link?
I haven't really seen a whole lot of that. I mean, I watched the video with the side-by-side.
Yeah, it's not done yet, so it's just...
But,
is that good?
And like, even in the regular game, you can tell that it's the spiritual successor of the SNES version and not the Genesis version. Which, back in the day when those two games came out, the Super Nintendo version, in my opinion, had a better story. But...
They had a different story?
They were completely different games, yeah, made by completely different studios. The SNES version had a better story, but there were like gripes with it that I had because it didn't follow like Shadowrun rules canon. Like you could be your character was a shaman, street samurai, fucking decker, and you can't do that because cyberware fucks with your magic. So, but you could get all the way down to like point something essence and still be able to cast spells, which you can't do in the game. So you can tell that this one is a spiritual successor to that one. First of all, the music is all remixed music of the SNES version, which I find fucking badass because I love the SNES version music. And like the ending boss is like this really hardcore remix of like just the random music from walking around in the SNES version. It's like the iconic like Shadowrun SNES music, which I think is really cool. You meet Jake Armitage. Gemma, this is part of the reason that I know Shadowrun is ripped directly from Neuromancer, because Armitage is one of the guys in Neuromancer, and Jake Armitage in the Shadowrun world is like a big figure. In any case, you meet him in Shadowrun Returns. He's the main character in the SNES version, and you meet him exactly like us as the audience meet the character in the first one. You walk up, you pull a slab open in the morgue, and he rolls out and gets up. And that's how, in the SNES version, he's killed, but he's brought back to life by a fox spirit. which also can't happen in Shadowrun. But so I thought that was pretty funny. You go on a run. Like his character portrait looks exactly like the one in SNES, just high definition.
Well, that's the way it should be.
Right. And all of it. And I was talking to
It'd
Nick.
be cooler if he just looked like he did on the SNES.
Yeah, all pixelated,
Yeah.
weird. He's got his stupid round shades that you have to find in the game in the first one, so that people don't know that you're the guy that just popped out of the morgue. Yeah. And you do a run with him, and he's like, a super badass. But in the game, in Shadowrun Returns, he's still got all his shaman abilities, got all his cyberware. And, like, the system, I guess, is really similar. The system is down.
Down.
All right, so it's really similar to that one, which is a shame because the Genesis version actually used real Shadowrun rules. Like the character sheet looked the same, the way you leveled up your shit looked the same, and it had just a lot more like lore in it, which is cool.
Man, I love lore.
Lore is pretty alright. So after playing through the whole thing, I started dicking around in the user or like the editor, and what's really cool about the editor is you can make awesome shit. Like you can make an entire Shadowrun campaign. You could make dildos, I suppose. If there's already somebody took one of the sprites for the bed and put a naked girl on it and uploaded that. Whatever. The only problem with the game in that respect is that it's not multiplayer or co-op at all. Which is a really big bummer because I thought maybe we could like build Shadowrun campaign in the user in like the editor and run it as a Shadowrun game.
What the fuck does that say?
Skilsguard, bro. That's from Metalocalypse. So there's that. But largely, I think that the game is really good. I'm gonna play through it again as not a decker, so that I don't have a really tough time through the game. Because my guy couldn't hit shit. Like I was relying on the other guys. But almost all the classes I think all the classes actually are represented in the game. There's adepts, which are like they use magic to enhance their
sexual performance
attributes and shit to be like badass ninjas and shit
in bed.
And then there's like mages and shamans and riggers in the game.
What about shamans?
No shamans. Riggers in the game are actually really cool.
That's racist.
And that's no, they're kind of like deckers, but they use their internal cyberware to control robots.
That's pretty good.
While they're moving around. So that's pretty cool.
It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
You are the oxygen of knowledge. Yeah, so Shadowrun Returns is good. It's got its problems, but it's alright.
Word. And we're still waiting on the... I'm sorry I'm fucking around on my phone a little bit, but I remembered that we were waiting on the Summer of Arcade stuff.
Yeah, no Flashback yet.
No.
I'm really excited about Flashback because, again, back on the Genesis, that was one of my favorite games. And I actually did a 365 video, or 365 games video of it.
The Ninja Turtles game looks pretty good, too.
Yeah. Is it...
Yep.
Like... a reboot of one of them, or is it just a new one?
I'm not sure.
Because I really hope it's... I hope it's a remake of that
Turtles
top-down / side-scrolling one that nobody liked, that I loved.
The arcade beat-em-up one?
No, it was only on the NES, bro. Like, there was the top-down view where you move around on like an overworld map, and then you go into places, and it would change to side-scrolling view. And if one of your turtles dies, it would move to the next one, so you only had 4 turtles. And it was hard as fuck. And there was the infamous swimming scene that anytime people talk about, like, there's a whole fucking giant thing on Reddit about, like, how video games made people scared to swim, and it's always Ninja Turtles.
I think that's vaguely familiar to me. I think I remember that.
If you saw it, you'd probably know it.
Mm-hmm.
You're like swimming in a reservoir, and there's like electrified fucking algae everywhere, and you gotta defuse all these bombs.
I do remember it, yeah.
Not fun. But the rest of the game's fun.
It's pretty hardcore that the Ninja Turtles were like They weren't even just like fighting Foot Clan guys. They were like disarming bombs and shit.
Right.
They were like a SWAT team in that
They
game.
were a multicolored SWAT team and a half shell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel the same way about
John,
the bathroom at my mother's house with that giant.
Is there anything coming out soon that you're excited about?
Phil.
Aside from Phil coming out of the closet.
Well, I'm a big fan of the Summer of Arcade stuff, so I'm excited about that stuff.
But what in particular?
I want to play Flashback. Because I do, after seeing your video, I did recognize it as a game that I had in fact played on the Genesis, which, as you know, I never had a Genesis, but my like best friend in like 6th and 7th grade had one, so we played a lot of games.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. There's nothing like
what is even coming? I mean, I saw the
It's
list,
summer, so
but
there's
all I
not a whole
remember
lot
is the
coming out
Turtles
there.
game and Flashback.
Yeah, there was another one that I can't remember the name of it, but it's like you. The
Payday
thing,
2.
yeah.
We're both excited about Payday 2. Don't get us wrong.
There's one where you control two brothers, and it's like a top-down adventure game, and the left stick controls the one brother, and the right stick controls the other brother, and depending on like which brother you interact with,
Can you make them tell on each other?
Well, they're depending on which brother you use to interact with people. Yeah, like kids.
Yeah. So can you make one of them steal the other one's
Probably.
candy? Okay.
Probably. Like if you go over and interact with an NPC with the one, you get a reaction, and then if you go in right after and interact with the other one, you get another completely different reaction because one brother's kind of a jerk and the other one's really polite and like.
Oh. Nice.
But it's a co-op game. It's a co-op single-player game because you're playing two separate characters
at the same time.
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
the controller's like split in half for like you're right. I'm really curious to see how it plays out because first off, we're talking about a game that I can't remember the fucking name of, which is really, really classy. We're really, really like a top-notch game show. Not a game show, but a game show.
So you're saying I could win something?
Shut up.
Like a new car.
Point is, it's one of the Summer of Arcade titles. Who fucking knows? It's a new IP. I'm really curious about it because it sounds to me like it's really going to force you to sort of really separate left and right brain sort of stuff.
Call of Juarez Gunslinger does that.
Yeah?
In the gunfights. Yeah. That's why I sat there and watched Josh fail at one over and over because he just would leave one stick alone and fail. Because you have to keep your focus on the dude with the right stick, and you got to keep your hand right above your holster for your speed with the left stick, so that you're faster on the draw. It's pretty cool.
Josh sucks at things. And games.
And games. Man, you're just on a roll with like the gay jokes tonight with people that we know.
No, what was that? There was something I watched Josh. Oh, it was when he was playing Vagrant Story. I just watched him get like just wrecked repeatedly, like telling him how to try to chain attacks when he first unlocked chain abilities.
Yeah.
How many times can you listen to a guy? Like I'm laying there trying to fall asleep, and I'm hearing him fucking whiff it. Like
you're hearing him whiff it?
No, we're gonna miss his fucking chain over and over and over and over.
It kept you up, didn't it?
Yeah, because I wanted to grab the controller and be like, "Look, dickhead, chain."
Because you wanted to fall asleep to the serene sounds of someone getting
successful chain attacks,
100 hit combo.
Yeah.
All right, so top 5.
Well, they didn't give us a top 5.
They didn't give us a top 5, but we still have to do one. How about top 5 things in a video game you would not want to step on without your shoes?
Other than the ones that we listed?
Yes.
Dude, the lava, the scarier lava in the lower Narfair portion of
I wouldn't want to step on that even with my shoes on, so I don't think that counts. All right. Lego counts because there are Lego games,
Mm-hmm.
and I wouldn't want to step on a Lego. What about... Oh, you didn't play Parasite Eve, did you?
Mm-mm.
The goop that people like dissolve into, that's pretty gross. So I wouldn't want to step in that.
Right, right.
This is why we come up with top fives before the show, by the way.
Most ridiculous drug references in games. Fallout.
Yeah, Fallout with Jet and all that stuff. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Fallout.
Oh man, I would not want to step in the bullywong piles. Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
though you do have to dig through them in the game. Yeah, shout like rifling through. Poo.
So wait, are we doing shit to step in or drug
shit to
references?
step. Well, we're halfway through shit not to step in.
All right.
What
So
about
we've
the
got
poo?
3.
What about the poo piles in Dragon whatever? Blue Dragon.
I don't remember those piles.
You kill those snakes, and then there's little poop piles you gotta look through afterwards.
I think that you can't use more than one poop. All poops pretty much go together.
All right,
They
so
live in harmony.
Legos, the Parasite Eve goo, poop,
Poop in general in games.
uh,
Most notably, Borderlands 2 and Blue Dragon.
the spikes in Mega Man.
Yeah, we have to hear that sound a lot because that's a notification on my phone. All right. But would you really, would you be okay with, because he has shoes on when he does it. Boots. Close enough.
Robot boots.
Robot boots.
Uh,
What about the vomit from those E.T. things in the X-Men arcade game?
you gotta bitch slap ET.
You gotta bitch slap E.T.
Bitch slap all the guys.
They just like...
Welcome to die!
They just like squirm up to you and vomit at you.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And it doesn't even like shoot it. It just kind of falls straight in front of them.
And then it's all like... it withers away.
Yeah.
Welcome to die.
All right, so we need one more. Come on, Broseph. Does it have to be gross, or can it be also painful?
Yes.
Yes.
To both.
All right. I got nothing, man. I got nothing for this fifth one. This is why, because from our first show.
Not gross. Yeah, they are painful. Oh, the Phazon in Metroid Prime. The blue stuff that in Metroid Prime. I wouldn't want to step on that shit.
I don't think I'd want to step on it either.
Because if you fall on it, dude, it's all like and it fucking like kills the shit out of you. And the Metroids are like hanging out on it, and then it makes that clone of you that's all like black and scary and crazy.
All right.
If anything that could create it does what now? Yeah, anything that could create a shadow me, I don't want it. Because then I'd have to fight that shadow
John,
me, unless I was Scott Pilgrim. In which case,
light makes a shadow you. I'm just throwing that out there.
unless I'm Scott Pilgrim, in which case I'd hang out with my shadow me.
Right.
Nega John.
Luke wants to know what it. He wants you to go in depth.
What, the Phazon?
While I eat this peach ring.
I don't eat all my peach rings.
Dude, I've had like
a dozen.
not nearly a dozen, maybe 11.
The Phazon? Yeah, the Phazon. They're mining.
Oh, he wants you to make the noise.
Oh, like it fucking shocks the shit out of you. Yeah. Jerk.
If you like John's rendition of what the Phazon does to you, you can like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That'd be great. Follow us on on
I got an idea. Let's
Twitch
do a
here.
question and answer segment. We're David. I know that you don't want to have short episodes here.
We're about 10 minutes under our average right now.
Yeah.
All right, question and answer. Why not?
Anybody in the chat want to ask us anything about our gaming experience?
They can ask us stupid stuff.
I know, and we're gonna answer it. Gaming experience. Hey, it's the first time that we've had the chat that'll show up on the YouTube.
I'm
video.
told it's a good size. I want to get that one out of there right away.
It's true. She said it was a good size at least. Yeah. That's what your mom said.
That's what your mom said. That's not what your mom said last night.
All right. Anything that you want to ask us about our gaming experience and knowledge, or
maybe what we're going to be doing,
or maybe
Virtual Bromance.
Anything that you maybe want to criticize that we said about something being, I will fucking kill you, about Shadowrun being directly ripped off from Neuromancer.
Weirdest mods.
Oh man, what about the Skyrim mod that gave all the dragons a Randy Savage head? That yelled "Oh yeah" instead of growling and roaring.
That one's pretty sweet.
The Randy Savage mod was really good.
I don't tend to download and use weird mods. I download and use mods that I think are awesome. So like back when I played Tribes back in 1999, I downloaded the Havoc mod because the Havoc mod made the game like 100 times cooler. When I played the Stalker games, I downloaded the realism mods. I don't remember the Stalker Complete, and it like really ramped up the graphics, made it so that it was a survival game. You had to eat and sleep and things like that. So that was pretty cool. She knew you were gonna say that.
Of course, you knew that. I mean, I don't know a whole lot of mods because I'm not a heavily PC gaming guy.
Well, you're a mod.
Your mom's a mod.
No, she's not. You're a mod on the.
Oh, I am one of those. Yeah, I actually am a mod. That's true. I didn't know you meant that way. You mean, yeah. All right.
Thanks, bro, for insulting the shit out of me. I know.
So yeah, I haven't seen a lot of mods.
You got to remember that we have been console gamers our whole life, and
right.
until
So
recently,
I did spend a lot of time though.
Really PC
once
guys.
I got my Bethesda bundle for Christmas last year or whatever it wasn't. Yeah, it was this past Christmas.
And who'd you get that?
Thank you, dear. I spent a lot of time with the Skyrim mods because on Steam they had the mod workshop set up for Skyrim.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of really great stuff, a lot of graphic enhancing mods.
Yeah, they had the user-generated content workshop set up for Shadowrun.
But yeah, not a lot of mods in my experience. I mean, do Game Genie codes count? I mean, we made my brother
Sure.
and my brother, who didn't even play video games, sat there for like 5 hours. He was probably on a lot of drugs when he did it because, he's like that sometimes. But he spent hours and hours and hours like making a custom Game Genie code that gave us invincibility in Metroid. But not invincibility in a normal sense. It just locked your health in whatever... because it's the...
So if you only had this much health, that's what you had for the rest of the game?
Well, because it's a number rating. So
Right.
it would lock it in whatever tens bracket it was in.
Oh.
So if you had 98 and you got hit
It would drop
for
down to
9
90?
points of damage, it would put you at 99.
Interesting.
It looped around within a certain tens bracket.
I gotcha.
Which was pretty cool until, things like if you fell into a pit of lava you couldn't jump out of.
You were screwed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, not a lot of mods in my experience.
That's not to say that we don't, now that we're kind of PC gamers.
Mm-hmm. I'm fairly political. Fuck it. The joke is ruined. I can't do it.
Anything else? I mean,
Cheats.
did
that? The cheat codes for Blood Omen Legacy of Kain.
Yeah.
The refill.
Yeah.
The refill your shit thing. Also the cheat
Refill
code.
your shit thing. That's not a cheat code. That's just eating, bro.
No, there's one for your health and one for your magic, right? I think it's.
I can remember.
There's also the one. What was the one in Dead Space?
That was the one you could refill your health and your stasis.
Not your health, I don't think.
Yeah, you could. Your health and stasis. There were 2 codes.
But I know that with the stasis one, you could basically like rock right through the game.
Because you could stasis
You could
everything.
stasis everything in the game. So you can use the infinite stasis.
And it didn't disable achievements, which is stupid.
The infinite stasis energy mod for or cheat code for Dead Space is like the easiest way to finish it on the hard mode.
Yeah.
which is the only achievement I don't have is finishing it on hard
Epic
mode.
3rd tier.
Yeah, I have a
engineer.
game save where I'm halfway through playing
I have
it on that game mode, but I don't actually own a copy of the game, and you wanted to get it back so you could play through the first 2 before the 3rd one came out.
Yes, that's right.
So, yeah, that one was pretty good.
Big head cheats and GoldenEye were pretty funny.
Well, yeah.
Other than that, yeah. Again, we here at Virtual Bromance don't cheat. Just throwing that out there.
What was awesome?
The big head.
Oh.
Maybe. I don't know.
Probably the big head thing in Golden.
Yeah.
Right on. So, anybody got another one? We'll totally field another one.
One more.
One more. One more.
If not, then I guess we're just gonna have to deprive everyone of Virtual Bromance Live for tonight. American, straight up.
Really?
Yeah, American cheese is my fucking favorite. It's processed as fuck, and it's so
They
good.
don't even. Luke's probably never even had American cheese for one.
Well, then
Gemma's only had it here.
Luke, have you had American cheese?
Alternative controller.
I don't. I use the standard controller for everything. See, he's had American cheese. Come on now. We've had Swiss cheese. We don't live in Switzerland. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, the U.S. import stores are the only place you can get it. That's right.
American cheese is my favorite.
Even in arcades. The Power Glove.
The Power Glove was stupid.
Yeah,
It didn't work the way it was supposed to.
Pepper Jack is really, really good. I don't know if it's my favorite. I honestly, Colby Jack is probably my favorite.
Pepper Jack's my second favorite. If you
Colby
want to go that
Jack is
far.
probably my favorite. I think it's a versatile cheese. Monterey Jack is a great cheese.
I like
Colby's
to
a really
put
great cheese.
American and
You mix
Pepper
the
Jack
two
on
together.
things.
Pepper Jack is really, really good, but it's Pepper Jack and Colby Jack
It's
are
not
my
gaming
top two.
related though.
I eat them when I'm gaming.
All right.
Yeah. No, I never really had any of the fun.
What's your favorite
alternate-
jelly bean?
Oh man, you know my candy rule. Anything citrus, I'm totally into it. Yellow and
I
orange,
didn't know.
lemon and orange and lime are
And
my
this is
favorites.
relevant because of Abuena's blob.
Really?
Yeah. You made your blob do things by throwing jelly beans at him. Different
Yeah.
flavors made him do different things.
Yeah, my favorite jelly bean, straight up, is the, I think it's tangerine. Tangerine Jelly Bellies.
This show has reached an all-time low when we're sitting here
No,
talking about
honestly, I feel
our
like
foods.
the silliness of it and the nonsensical, like, unlinked, disjointed stupidity is probably getting more views than any other show we've done. But yeah, we'll hopefully get this Deadly Premonition thing done soon. And
At the rate we're going, no, we're not.
right, I
Just
understand what you're saying. Or we'll start another project in the interim as well. I've got a couple of videos that I need to edit. Some Xenoblade Chronicles stuff.
Yeah, aside from your Deadpool review, you really haven't done anything ever.
Right.
So it'd be nice to get some Providence videos up there.
Yeah, I have the Xenoblade Chronicles video to edit and do my narration for. And I did record a bunch of Metroid Zero Mission as well when I was playing it.
Cool.
So I'll do those. I think it should be pretty good. Maybe I'll record my playing that Colonial Marines campaign DLC solo.
Mm. All right. Is there a local co-op on that? Do you know?
Yeah, split screen.
Well, we could do split screen. I'm not buying it. Sorry. You hear that, Randy? I'm not buying your shit. All right. So, in any case, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for tonight.
What has four
That's all I
wheels and
got.
flies, bro?
I don't know.
A garbage truck.
Gotcha. Yeah. So in any case, I'm also going to be playing a shit ton of Final Fantasy 14 and Realm Reborn, but I've talked about that enough. So.
Enough that you started your own channel to talk about
it. There is another channel, but the reason I didn't put that in Virtual Bromance is because I'm going to be putting out a shit ton of stuff for it, but it's only going to be Final Fantasy 14. So I don't want to bog down Virtual Bromance with that shit. So, in any case, we're going to get the fuck out of here.
Metal Gear Legacy Collection I still have to get. See you later, guys.
No, I'm saying, do you want to talk about that?
I already did.
Oh, all right. See you guys later.